I've had this Mbuna tank for about 6 months, maybe a little bit longer, and I've already scaped it twice. Well, I'm gonna scape it a third time, and this time, I'm gonna do it right. So if you're a normal person, you're probably thinking, you've already scaped this thing twice, why are you doing it again? Well, I'm gonna give them so much more. I'm gonna give them bigger rocks. They're gonna be better, they're gonna be more beautiful, they're gonna give them more hides and caves, and they're just gonna be so happy. And on top of that, I'm gonna be super happy because it's gonna look 1,000 times better. Let me show you.
First off, just take a look at what we're working with here. None of these rocks are really big, and I guess that's okay. And there are some things that I actually like about the way I did this scape. I like the way I have them stacked. There isn't much of a threat of them coming crashing down and hitting one of the side panels. If that happens, I could wind up with a crack, and then every fish keeper's worst nightmare, a cracked or broken panel and an empty tank and a room full of water. So that's good. I also like that the way I stacked them gives the inmates of Attica lots of tunnels and caves to zoom in and out of, or just sit inside them and take it easy. I think they like it too. I also like that the rocks are mostly smooth, so there isn't much of a risk of them getting injured by the sharp edges of the rocks, because there aren't any. But there are some things I don't like. I really wanted to get this pile of rocks higher. I wanted to get it like 3/4 of the way to the top of the tank. Because even though they have a lot of hiding places down low, that leaves a lot of open space at the top where there's plenty of room to swim around. And they don't really need that much open space like my haps and Alcatraz do. Open space with these clowns is just an opportunity for some good chasing room, and since they can be on the more aggressive side, that's not great. Hiding places are good, and not just at the bottom. So I need some line of sight breaks above the bottom 6 inches of the tank or so. I also don't really like using river rock with African cichlids. I'm planning on using 2 different types of stone on this rescape. I have some large basalt rocks I want to use as the base layer. I bought these at a local landscaping company, $6 for a bucket of them, and then a couple extra too. I probably bought way too many, but I just want to have options. And $6 for all of these? Come on. The rest of the scape will be built with Sirius stone from Landen Aquariums, and they were kind enough to send it to me. If you don't know who Landen Aquariums is, they make gorgeous rimless tanks, like the one my black nasties live in. It's a gorgeous tank. They also made this awesome stand that looks very contemporary and sleek looking. The front edge of the tank actually hangs over the platform so that when the doors close, it's completely flush with the stand. If you're OCD at all, this has to make you feel like a baby in its mother's arms. I also like the separate compartment for the canister filter, and then the big compartment where you can put all your supplies. It's a heavy-duty stand, not like the flimsy pieces of shit you find at places like PetSmart. If you're interested in Landen Aquariums, check out their website. Clickable links are in the video description, and if you buy anything, use the code DAVIDandLanden at checkout for 5% off. And just look at these nasties, by the way. Still doing great and not killing each other. Hey, that's a 5-star review in my opinion. I'll be giving you an update on them in the near future, but for now, check out these Sirius stones that Landen sent me. Packaged very thoughtfully and individually wrapped, with lots of different sizes that'll be perfect for the amount of rocks I'm shooting for. Should be able to give them lots of caves and hides with these, and they're absolutely beautiful. Just look at them. So many options and a lot of variety. And I think you're gonna love what I have in mind for them, unless I screw it up somehow, which I totally could.
All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do with this tank is I'm just gonna drain it. It needed a water change anyway, so I'm gonna get the water out of it part way, then take the rocks out, and then I'm gonna take the fish out, and I'm just gonna put them in a tote for a while. I'm not even gonna put an air stone in there because I don't anticipate this taking that long. If it does, I'll just start stirring the water up with my hand to oxygenate the surface of the water. That should be fine. I can see a lot of you right now.
Hey honey, it's that guy that killed all those fish. He's gonna do it again.
They're gonna be fine. So after I get the rocks out and the fish out, then I'm gonna push all the sand to one side and I'm gonna get those new rocks in. And it's gonna look amazing. Let's go.
Draining this thing with my 1-inch hose and my Cichlid Ultra Zero pump like I usually do. It goes insanely quickly, but not so fast that it freaks all the fish out. I'll freak them out plenty when I'm trying to catch them later. Now get mesmerized as the water drains from the tank. Oh, I almost forgot! I need to add some of the tank water to the tote. That way they have the same water parameters while they wait in their luxury 5-star hotel. And let's rid ourselves of these hideous river rocks. Yeah, I know when I put them in here I was like, aren't these great? Well, that was then, and this is now. So you're just gonna have to put all that behind you and move on. Don't worry, I'm not gonna bore you with a 5-minute clip of this. It'll be quick. that's about enough of that. That plastic egg crate peeking out of the sand helps protect the bottom glass from all the weight of the rocks and their sharp edges. And look at all that detritus that was stuck in and under the rocks. Yuck. Time to catch me some nutjob Mbunas. Alright, you get the idea. I need a lot more Mbuna, don't I? And it looks like I'm about to have even less if I'm not careful. I'm watching you, new cat. Pretty good time to clean all the panels. Nice and clear. And nothing like a good deep gravel vac to take the edge off, is there? Very soothing. Feel your stress just melt away. And there we are, looking pretty good. And now I'm just going to swipe a lot of the sand to the edges of the tank, so the new rocks will sit flush on the egg crate. If they're sitting on the sand, they can eventually shift and the rocks could come tumbling down, which is generally a horrific idea when they're surrounded by fragile glass. Making sure these guys have enough oxygen. And I do believe that we're ready to add some rocks, starting with the basalt base layer. Now it's time to get those ultra fancy Sirius stones in here from Landen Aquariums. What I did was I just emailed a pic to Penny at Landen explaining the type of rock structure I was shooting for, and she knew exactly how many rocks to send. I mean, exactly. I'm going to be using every single rock that she sent me, and I wouldn't want any more or any less than what she shipped. It's pretty cool. Like I said, I want this rock structure to be really tall, and that means the foundation needs to be very solid. Every now and then I'm going to give them the old tap test and see if they're firmly in place. If they're shifty, I'll just reposition them until they're firmly in place. The Mbuna will be zooming in and out of those holes and caves a lot, and they could bump the rocks, so they can't be wobbly at all. You'll notice me sometimes trying to fit a rock in a certain spot, and then removing it or either sticking it someplace else or replacing it with another stone. And it's really trial and error with these. And the Sirius stone from Landen is so grippy that a lot of positioning that wouldn't work with the river rock, because they were too slick and it felt like they would fall down, it will work with these. It's pretty cool and makes me feel a lot better about having a rock structure as high as I'll be making it. Adding a few smaller caves out front, and believe me, they're going to love these. Alright, I do believe that it's time to add the inmates back into their remodeled attica. Let's see where they swim off to once I drop them in. And then I'll show you how the fish are liking the new scape after the water clears up. I'm actually a voice from the future, so I can tell you they're going to love it. And it'll look even more beautiful than I thought it would. Just look, they're already loving it, and especially all the new holes and tunnels. This is just so awesome. I'm gonna let the dust settle a bit and come back when it clears up, and I think you're gonna love it. I really do. I am very much enjoying how they're all moving in and out of those holes I made. Look, you can see Astro, my big Mangano, just hanging out in one at the bottom. He actually looks kind of creepy, like a ghostly face leering at you from the dark. Stop being creepy, Astro. You're gonna freak out all the other inmates. Tossing some Northfin veggie pellets in here, lovingly marinated in garlic gourd. Mbuna love them because Northfin is a family-owned Canadian business who makes great products. Okay, that's why I love them, but look, they do love them too. Let me know if you like this scape as much as I do, or if you have any advice about it. I learn from you as much as you learn from me. And until next time, that's gonna be a wrap.